What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're doing a quick 2 to 3 minute fantasy football breakdown of whichever player you selected, because this is a pre-recorded intro. Now, if you want to see a more in-depth breakdown of whatever player you selected, it'll be in the description below or a notification on top. I've done a previous video on most players, so you can find it anywhere on the channel. If you like what you see today, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We have plenty of fantasy football content coming your way before your drafts. So stay tuned and let's get to the video. All right, so my ninth player overall is Josh Jacobs. Now, talk about a player whose value is based so differently in everybody's opinions. I mean, it really is. He's up and down the market. Some people have him ranked as a top 8 running back. Some people have him in the teens, which I think is ridiculous. I was looking at ESPN's website, and they have him ranked as consensus the 14th RB in PPR, 9th in standard. Matthew Berry has Jacobs 9th overall in standard, and his colleague Mike Clay has him number 18. He has him number 18 in the standard league. That's ridiculous. I know he didn't catch a lot of passes this year, but that's really overlooking and overblowing the lack of receptions. Now, I do love Jacobs this year. I think he's a really good player. Not quite elite, but I think he's really, really good. You know, to me, last year, he had 1,100 yards rushing, and I don't think a lot of people realize that because he only did it in 13 games. It was one of the quietest 1,100-yard seasons we've seen. He didn't get a lot of hype, and Jacobs is a back where he doesn't do anything really, I think, amazing, but he does a lot of things really good, really, does great things. Balance. I think balance is one of the best things he has, where he's just a little bowling ball. I mean, he just bounces off tacklers in short areas. I mean, he really has good burst, which I like, where he can kind of bounce off the tackler and he can take off really quick. He doesn't have the best top end speed, but he gets up to that top speed really, really quickly. He can really pull away from defenders. I really think he has great vision too. There's a play against Chicago where they're in the red zone. He gets a pitch out to the left and he cuts it back against everything and finds a hole right up the middle for a touchdown, walk-in touchdown. Great play. You don't get that from a lot of running backs. But I do like Josh Jacobs a lot. And last season, looking back at last year, he had 15 or more attempts in 10 of his 13 games. 10 of his 13 games. If you would have took his average carries per game, which was 18.6, multiply that over 16 like he played a full season, he would have got you 297.8 carries. 297. That's one less than Nick Chubb. That's 4th best in the NFL. And that's only 5 behind Derrick Henry, who led the entire NFL in carries. 5. He was 5 short of the leader. He could have led the NFL in carries. I just think that's so ridiculous that running back is not going into the teens, possibly to the second round, The problem with people accepting Josh Jacobs as a first-round fantasy pick, it's obviously because of the receptions, and I think maybe a little bit of the Oakland Raiders situation. I mean, Oakland's not really a great team. I don't think they're terrible, but they're not really good. I wouldn't, consider them good. And the receptions are big, especially in PPR leagues. I mean, last year he finished with 20 receptions, which is terrible. I mean, I'm not going to lie. But what I saw from his film was when he caught the ball, he did a lot of great things with it. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, where I think like Derrick Henry, there'll never be a season where he catches over 30 catches. There's no way. There's no way he catches over 30 passes. If Josh Jacobs caught 40 to 50, I wouldn't be shocked because I think he has good hands for, the limited, catches he had, but he showed good hands. They weren't all body catches, and he made great moves after the catch. He's a useful route runner. He's a useful receiver out of the backfield. He's not a log. He's not just some big oaf. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets anywhere from 40 to 50 catches. Not saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked if it does. And just think about this. I really want you to take a step back and just really ponder on this. Are you willing to take Joe Mixon over Josh Jacobs? Joe Mixon's a good player. I think he's a really good running back. Not quite elite either, but I think he's right there. A player like Joe Mixon, we've been waiting for him for fantasy for the past 3-4 years, and he's been good. But he's never really hit the great. He's never hit the elite status like we always hyped him up to be. We think he can do it. We really, really bank on being able to do it and drafting him in the late first round, early second, waiting for him to do this, and he just doesn't do it. He lets us down every year. Are you willing to take Miles Sanders over Josh Jacobs? I mean, Miles Sanders, he wasn't even the starter on his team until the starter, Jordan Howard, got hurt, and then he finally took over and had a good time, really took off with the role, but still, are you willing to trust this guy who hasn't even proven it for a full season? Clyde Edwards Hilaire is another guy. People shot him up the list. I have him high too because I think he's a good player. I think the film was really good in college. But in a year with no preseason and very little, padded practices, Oh yeah, and the fact that we've never seen him play an NFL snap before. Are you willing to really take the player who seems to be kind of locked in at 275 to over 300 carries in a season for a rookie, and Joe Mixon, who's let us down routinely, and Miles Sanders, who's really, I guess, done it for 1 year? I just don't think I am. I just think you need to be smart and take the safe pick and go with Josh Jacobs, who's locked in at over 300 touches this year. Be smart, go with the safe pick.